thank you for joining us today. It's Jalal, Reha. I'm from the cinema here, your host, and then we have our co-host here,
Mitchel Parker.
All right, here today we have the cinematographers, George Mason University here. We have Nathan Taylor, Heather Marshall, Alex Bowen. And why don't you, ladies and gentlemen, tell us what senior thesis films you guys shot this semester?
This semester I shot When She Left by Juan Pablo Villadiz.
All right.
This semester, I shot Dots by Adam Reforzo, and then I also did cinematography for Running by Donovan Jones.
Mm-hmm.
This semester I shot Loon, directed by Noah Hadish. I shot 909 Nights, which was directed by Ryan Judge. I shot Burt Durner, The Automata PI, which was directed by Mike Woods. And I shot The Day, which was directed by Andy Riddle.
Wow, active crew people here. Been on set with all you guys. All you guys have great work ethics, and that's always fun to be with you guys. But I have a question here for you guys, and that's how do you guys approach your projects? Like, what kind of intrigues you to do a certain film? You know, like what calls you to make you want to shoot that? Go ahead, Nathan.
Oh, right, it's open, huh?
Yeah.
Well, for me, it's definitely the project comes to me. People see that I do a good job on projects. I work hard, so they're willing to give me a shot in filming their project. But what I'm looking for as of right now is interiors, because the last couple films that I've shot have all been outside. And filming outside is just such a challenge that it's easy to get lost in the process of trying to deal with all the difficulties in it.
Go ahead, get lost.
Yeah. no, that's fun. That's fun.
Another
man.
clip. Yeah, I just look for good people, good crew that'll help me out, and a director that really has a drive to finish the project.
All right.
Exactly. I agree, a director that has a drive and definitely good people to work with. I also think it's a little bit of both. Sometimes people ask us, but also with the FAVS production fair, people are saying their pitches about their projects, and I tend to lean towards like things that inspire me or have some type of closeness to my heart somehow in life, and also I like comedy, so
Perfect.
yeah.
Something you'll enjoy.
So I just do,
It's actually
you know.
very challenging to film comedies.
It
Is it?
Who does? Yeah.
Awesome.
I've yet to really tackle a comedy in the senior thesis realm. It's something I'm going to try to do at some point. No, I mean for me it's a lot of the story is important. So a lot of the time, someone who's seen what I've done will come to me and say, "Do you want to shoot this?" They'll, yeah, can I see a script? And I'll read the script, and a lot of the times, or well, every time, it's always the story. Because if the story is solid and the story is there, then the rest of the film kind of follows from that. And if your story isn't there, then it becomes much more difficult to sort of get the film out of the script, because the script isn't the film and the film isn't the script. The script is like a map, and if that story, that map is there, then you can build the rest of the film off that. And then sometimes I'll have like for Nodes, for example, I was in sound class with him last semester, and he was talking about his films, and I thought it was a really interesting story, and I was like, hey, do you need a cinematographer? And that's how that happened. So it varies.
Yeah, no, that's very authentic. It's from the heart. It's fantastic. So next question for you guys is about how you guys, like what you guys have like learned in this program too. Like how you guys have grown as cinematographers too. Each project presents its own new challenges too. So like, what are the things that you guys have learned from project to project, and just stuff that you learn in one set to bring to another? Any sort of experiences in that regard?
Well, I could certainly speak to just working in film in general, what I've learned going to school here. So just put yourself out there and network and make a good name for yourself. If people see that you love working and doing what you do, then you're going to keep getting work to do it again and again. Even if the project gets hard, you just got to tough it out. And that'll show, and it'll go a long way in the future to people who are looking to make another film or what have you.
Right.
I agree, like toughing it out, because every film is different because we have a variety of students here. So you're always working with different crew, different directors, and there's just different levels of the way that people work from set to set. So if it's challenging, it's great because you're just getting extra experience and more experience as you go along. I would say that I've definitely had different experiences from set to set. Some that we've done a lot of pre-production that I enjoy, and some is more, you have to jump in with whatever the director wants and kind of go with the flow, freestyle a little bit. But I do recommend always pre-production because it definitely helps the process as a cinematographer go smoothly, and you know what you're looking to do when you get to your location.
Right.
Yeah, I kind of want to echo what Nathan said. You really gotta put yourself out there. You can't sit around and wait for those projects to come to you, or for that knowledge to come to you. You have to go out and get on set and work with people who are more experienced than you are, and observe what they do. Look at how they choose to light a scene, or where they choose to put their camera, how they frame things. Look at what other people are doing and sort of not copy it, obviously, but sort of build on that. Take from that what works, what doesn't work.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I've never been on a set where I didn't learn something new each time. Even if it's small to big, it's a continuous learning experience.
Yeah, every set is a learning set.
Exactly. No, this whole industry, I'd say, film never stops. You're always learning constantly. I would also add, so as cinematographers, what are things that what are some stories that you felt the director's vision, and it was something that challenged you, that you knew you had to go out of your realm here, and what are some things that you felt what are some stories you have that you felt that are memorable to you, that you did something out of your comfort zone as a cinematographer? Any incredible stories?
And we don't have to go in the same order as well. Anybody can feel free to
anybody
speak.
can feel free if you have anything.
I think a project, at least a fictional piece that had a lot of purpose behind it, would have to be a film I filmed last semester, which was Clay Stanley's brother, which was a story inspired by his life of his brother who had cerebral palsy and the struggles that he went through growing up with him before his passing. But yeah, it was, the story aside, I had never covered something as serious a matter as that. And Clay is a funny dude. He'll joke around about the story and everything. And so it was a quirky film, but with a serious subject. And on top of that, it was, again, all outside. So filming outside was definitely out of my comfort zone at that time. I never filmed a fictional piece that was completely outside. So it's definitely tough for lighting, for sound, for camera, just getting crew out to the locations. That was definitely one of my biggest, but probably greatest learning experiences for a fictional piece.
Yeah, I had a once again, to echo Nathan, going back to last semester, I shot Sir, which was Caden Blackmer's senior thesis, and that was another personal story of Caden's. Caden is a trans man, and the story is about a trans man named Ty, who is struggling with his own personal identity and how the world sees him and how he wants to be seen. And that was a very intense and intensely personal story for Caden. And it showed in the script, and I'd like to think that we made it show in the film. And I'd never done anything that serious before.
Right.
And there were some parts of that were challenging to try to convey the emotion that's there, because it's there in the script and it's there in the story. And it's always tough to sort of try to get that right, because you want that. When you have that representation of a minority group, or of any of those groups of people that aren't traditionally widely represented in film, you want to make sure you nail that representation, especially as someone who does not fit into one of those groups. It's another hurdle to overcome, I guess, in that trying to get that right.
That was great. Yeah, that was really good.
No, I totally. That was extremely hard again too. You won best cinematography and it showed. It's fantastic.
Thank you.
That was a great film.
No problem. You have anything to add to that, Heather, or no?
Challenges with film? I would say I agree with the part about the exteriors. The first film that I shot was basically 99% of it was all exterior, and at that it was all at night as well. So it's a challenge when we had a lot of wide shots to not be able to use practicals and other things that can be in a wider shot, because obviously we can't have our lights in those shots. So it was a challenge to overcome that. But I can say, like, after that project, I definitely have a lot more confidence in everything that I'm doing, and I've definitely learned a lot. So I take on projects, and I just go with the flow, and it seems to just work out the way it's going to work out. So that's what I have to say.
All right, cool. No, that's fantastic answers for everyone here. Kind of an open question here for everyone. So dream projects here. Anybody have any like visions in mind that you always wanted to shoot for a certain director, or for a certain, whether it be here or just in the future, or certain things you actually want to work on as a cinematographer? Any things like that kind of jump out to you that you've always wanted to shoot? Any certain equipment you've always wanted to work with?
In like a perfect world, unlimited budget.
Unlimited type of thing. Is anything that kind of jumps out to you guys?
I don't know. I was lucky enough to have a couple of those dreams come true this semester.
Oh, that's awesome.
For Node's film Loon, I had a friend of mine who owns a Red. So we're gonna shoot on a Red with an absolutely. Well, I'm gonna kind of geek out on the lens here for a minute.
Go ahead.
This friend has the Red. It's a Scarlet W helium, full 9 yards.
Everything.
And he's got with it this wonderful Cooke Veritol 20-100 zoom lens. And it's one of those kind of vintage lenses that has that particular look to it. That's not it sort of takes that digital edge off of things. It's really soft. It's not really soft. You know what I mean? But it's just a fantastic piece of glass to work with. That and the Red that was a lot of fun. And then for Mike's, for Burt Durner, I'd always kind of wanted to shoot something black and white, and that was a noir. That was it was a comedy, sort of satire of a noir,
right.
But it was the black and white, the high contrast. That was a lot of fun.
That's awesome.
Fantastic.
It's good to get dreams coming true. That's amazing. I was expecting this to be like a hypothetical answer.
No, and I think the best. I think the best part of that was also people like actually your skill level people were trusting you to use their nice equipment. Like, hey, look, man, like you can use this. We know what you can do, man.
We had to get some insurance for that one.
No, that must be a great feeling. You guys like to add anything?
Any big dreams?
Any big
hopes,
dreams?
aspirations?
I'm not one that thinks into the future of what I work on.
In the moment, I like it.
I'd love to shoot this psychological piece with Jalal Reha.
Oh wow! Oh yeah, thank you. I hope that comes out well.
Nice
right?
plug. Good
there
job.
We go. No, all interior, by the way. There you go. Right?
There you go, man. There's your dream.
Yeah. My dream for this year is to shoot an interior.
All right. I wonder who can bring that dream come true. Wow.
I've always wanted to work with the RA Max light. I don't know if that would ever come true, but I just want to point it somewhere and see what happens. Will it burn my hand off?
We use one of the gaffers to do it for you, but that's
massive fixture.
Yeah,
exactly.
It's as big as a body. That's how big.
That's an interesting comparison.
A whole person.
A whole person. It's as big as a whole person.
My friend had actually sent me a photo of one. Did you get that photo?
I got that
A
photo
person
too.
or
Yeah.
It's
a photo of a person.
Okay,
Yeah.
cool. Just clarifying.
Okay.
There was a person in it, but there was an RA Max in the foreground.
Same size.
For reference, that is an 18,000 watt HMI light.
That's a lot of watts.
It's a big boy.
He's a big boy, truly.
Not 1,800, 18,000.
Well, I'm going to my last two questions.
Wait,
here.
hold on. What about you, Heather?
Wait, Heather. I'm sorry about that.
Say the next Tom Cruise.
I think we all would like to get our hands on other equipment that we don't have, because, like, again, it's all a learning experience, and we like to, use new equipment, learn more about, what's coming out, the new cameras, the new lights. I'd like to work on. I think an opportunity is like anything great that would be a longer, bigger budget film, or I think I'd enjoy working on something that has colors as well, like more saturation with lights, a lot of different things to play around with more lighting. I'd like to do that too.
Yeah, exactly.
Awesome.
No, exactly. There've been some beautiful films here too. So all great answers to that. Honestly, I would just like to add. So we have two more questions here for you. So, when you get on to a set, what is it that you look for in a what is it that you look for in a great team that kind of like helps you make your job easier? What is it that you look for, and how do you know that there's a difference between getting on a set where you know you're surrounded by great people, and how do you know when you're there when you feel like, oh well, I gotta be pulling a lot of weight? You know, what are some things that you look for in your teammates and like people on your set?
I personally look for someone who has either had the position before and feels comfortable performing the actions of it, or someone who has a lot of ambition and wants to get out there and learn how to do certain things, even if it's not something related to what I like or enjoy doing. Someone who has a very good drive to get out and learn new things, they'll do a good job in anything because they're willing to learn the process.
Like the readiness of the person.
I think that's probably the most
Are you
important
going to echo him?
Right.
Is that I'm just going to continue this theme of repeating whatever Nathan has said. In that, because especially, I mean, experience aside, I would love to have experienced people. Like whenever I work with Nathan, it's always great. A friend of ours, Will Dixon, is always a fabulous assistant camera operator. Yeah. But when it comes to work with inexperienced people, no matter the level of experience, it's always that attitude. It's that willingness to learn new stuff. It's the willingness to always try to do better, and to always be paying attention to what's going on.
Yeah, and that's why when I work with you guys, I'm like, I know I don't know half as much as you guys, but I'm like, try to be as attentive as I possibly can and stuff like that. I feel that too, and I try to encourage them, the ones around us.
Right. I agree with that too, because if someone has a determination to do something, and they're willing to learn and put in the work, then you want to work with them. A big thing for me too is I really like working with other people that care about the project and show a certain level of like respect and are just friendly. Like the whole set, we work together, we come together to collaborate on something, to create something that we're all there for. I think that being like a department head, like a DP, it's great when you do have the other people that come in that have that determination to learn things or the ambition, because I like to teach as well. So I know like sometimes the environments are fast paced, but I always like to make sure everyone's getting an experience out of it and at least show them like what I'm doing or saying what I'm doing out loud as I do the settings or change lenses, so that everyone feels like they're getting something out of the experience.
Yeah.
And if you've been around someone or are currently around someone who has a lot of experience working in the industry, go ahead and ask a question.
Right.
I've never met someone who wasn't willing to share their information, and I think we could all agree a lot of the stuff we have learned have been from people who have been in the game way longer than we have.
Yeah.
I've learned from even
Asking
before
questions.
them. It's all passing along of information.
Passing the torch constantly. Yeah, no, and all well said answers, and I personally agree with it too. Just that's how I've learned in the past year, just getting on set, constantly being around people that know more than you, but people that challenge you, and that kind of brings the best out of you too. So just to wrap things up here, you guys have been cinematographers that have grown in the FAVS program, as a bunch of us students have, and well, where are some things that you think that you really gained a lot out of being a student in this FAVS program, where you think it really thrived for you? Where are some things that you think as a cinematographer that either areas of improvement, maybe things you wish you could have done, stuff like that, and your reflection back on it now? So yeah, I mean, just however you feel about it.
I could say certainly I wish I had gotten on sets my freshman year, because my freshman year I wasn't on any sets. And it wasn't until my sophomore year that I started working in production, because previously I had been all post-production. So once I got into a set, I realized that this is what I want to do. I don't want to spend all my days behind a computer. I want to get out there and see new places, meet new people, have new experiences. I had one more plug. It'll come back to me.
I have the same thought about getting on sets as early as you can. I wasn't a freshman here, but I was a transfer student, so my time here has been a lot shorter. And the first year that I was here as well, I didn't really know like the student sets were a thing. I didn't really hear much information about it. So my first semester too, it was really like getting in the hang of things and seeing what's going on. So you definitely want to get on the sets as early as you can, because you can start building your experience.
Yeah, I mean, I was also transferred into this program as a sophomore. I started out as engineering, and then jumped over to film. But I think as far as what the program has offered, I guess, has been resources in terms of people and of course of equipment, but mostly people and those connections. With my classmates like Nathan, Heather, and you guys, being able to work with everybody and all of us learn from each other and to be on the sets and get that experience has been, I think, more valuable than any classroom could possibly be. Not that we don't have perfectly lovely teachers and class curriculums, but
gotta save yourself.
nothing beats actually going out and doing.
Yeah.
Right.
Because there's only so much that you can learn in a classroom.
Right.
Right.
And everyone learns a different way, and like I would probably say for most DPs, it's something that you have to do, or at least I'm visual and I have to actually do something, you know, to learn it and get the experience. So like in the classroom's great, but there has to be that time where you have hands-on experience for sure.
Yeah. And be sure to collaborate. I used to be heavy on being a one-man band, but I realized that I don't get as much or nearly as much done unless I collaborate with people.
Exactly, and willing to work with people and stuff like that.
Yeah, just be open. Put yourself
Take
out
a
there.
chance, yeah.
Oh, for
Perfect.
sure. Oh yeah, no. Oh, well said, everyone. I want to thank you guys for joining us here.
Thank you so much.
You know, thank you guys. You're all busy guys here in a busy schedule here, and yeah, thank you again for joining us here. Thank you guys for joining us here from the Cinema, the Roundtables
Have a
edition.
great day.
Have a great one, and join us next time. All right, thank you.
Yeah, support your local Genie crew.
There's the plug. There it is.